They're taking school Chromebooks and annihilating them.
Yo! Now we're just being violent just to be violent. Throwing Chromebooks? That gotta be an all-time low. Gen Z's obsession with violence.
Imagine this scenario.
Okay.
You wake up for work at 7:15 a.m. to get ready. Have to deal with an hour worth of traffic because road infrastructure in America is designed by people, I presume, who have never drove a car. You manage to make it just in time for your shift at 9. You work at the movie theater. All you have to do is make sure people have the right movie ticket and sweep the floor. You walk into one of the theaters as 2 final words are uttered from a movie.
Chicken jockey.
I don't even know the hype about this chicken jockey. I heard this Minecraft movie was made for like kids, so there's no real point of watching it as an adult. Anyone that distracts the experience of a movie theater should not be there. I remember I was trying to watch the movie Sinners that just came out, and then there was like some aunties in front of me that were literally yelling throughout the whole movie. A movie theater is not a place for you to be a comedian, for you to give a speech, none of that. We're all trying to experience a movie. So if y'all could please just shut up and watch the movie and let everyone experience it. This is our first time watching it if you didn't know. I think it's just so rude for people to actually disturb a watch experience. I mean, I understand what this movie is probably not as serious, but you could at least be mindful of the workers that have to clean after you.
And proceed to get hit by 10 popcorn bugs with the force of a Boeing 737. The Minecraft chicken jockey incidents are just one of many trends that Gen Z has done, which has related to things such as vandalism, general violence, and
that has to be the nastiest thing to hit a lick of. You're taking urinal cakes, I think that's what it's called. You do know this is like the pad where it like kind of makes the piss not smell pissy, right? Like people piss on this so that the urinal doesn't smell, and you're just grabbing it with your hands. You got it. When you wake up with 3 new infections, hey, I didn't tell you anything.
And I'm here to answer the question of why is Gen Z so violent? But before I start, that whole question can be answered pretty quickly. Some of you might be confused by the title because according to statistics, Gen Z overall is actually the generation with the lowest rate of violent crime ever recorded.
Yeah, but then back here, yo, slavery was a thing, civil rights era, we had so much other shit going on. If you really think about it, Gen Z is still actually the best
of any youth of a generation. And we're actually over 60% lower than baby boomers were at our ages. So take that, you old f. And now that I know about this, it's funny when I'm walking by grandma, she starts to clutch her purse. Like, I should be the one clutching my purse. Your generation was 60% more violent than us.
Facts.
So even though traditional violent crimes are way lower with us, we have way more of a psychological violence and mental violence. Just like I mentioned at the start of this video, one of our things is dangerous challenges. Growing up seeing these crazy challenges every year on YouTube did not.
As much as I want to flame Gen Alpha for doing all these dumb things, we did similar things. The same way I could flame people for taking Tide Pods, I mean, we did things that were questionable ourselves. Maybe not to the extent of taking poison, but we still did dumb things like putting salt on ice and just dumb things like that.
I'd help us develop well. Like, I remember the first time I saw someone doing the salt and ice challenge and thought how wild it was. If only they could see what we have now. People were intentionally burning their skin off for views and likes. And when you're a kid, you soak up things like a sponge. Because I don't know why, but my friends in the neighborhood gathered around to do it and see who could last the longest. They tried to offer me to join in. Like, I like my sexy caramel skin.
I've seen people do it for such a long time that their skin just dented. It just looks like it was just melting. When I did the salt and ice challenge, as soon as it tingled a little bit, I removed it. There's no point to last 30 minutes doing the salt and ice challenge when you know the repercussions that it could have.
And being attacked, I'm good off that. So us growing up with this mentality, of course nowadays we're gonna come up with dumb challenges and try to do it for views, which the Gen Alphas shall grow up and carry the tradition on after us. But on TikTok for us, it's gotten notably worse. I don't know if it's just because TikTok can generate easy ass views for almost anyone. Usually the challenges back then were absolutely brain dead, but at least it was just harming.
Okay. I don't recall anyone ever using that much amount of cinnamon. How much cinnamon do you need to eat? You have that little ass spoon. What is she doing? That's just a recipe for disaster at that point.
Yourself. The next stage we've reached is harming others. The time I visibly remembered things starting to change was with the devious lick challenge. I had just graduated that year, so luckily.
Why does it look like you went through hell and back? Come on, bro. You could let off a better smile than that, bro. This has got to be the most awkward smile known to mankind.
So luckily I wasn't in high school anymore to witness that bullshit. But we casually made robbery a trend and funny. I feel like in other generations, they would have just been too scared to have the audacity to do something like this off.
I'm assuming a lot of people got expelled or suspended for this. And I think what's different than the other generation is that I don't think we would have been dumb enough to make TikToks about it. Maybe tweet it. it, but making TikToks about it, if someone wanted to make it their mission, they could probably track you down using your TikTok.
Being arrested and being scared to be put on the local news and having all their friends and family laugh at them and make fun of them for it. Also, some of y'all may not know, but the devious lick trend, yeah, they brought this whole trend back. Instead of now destroying school bathrooms and vandalizing them, they're taking school Chromebooks and annihilating them.
Yo! Okay. So now we're not even making a bag. Now we're just being violent just to be violent, just for the love of the game. Throwing Chromebooks? That gotta be an all-time low. Dude. Huh? Okay, but what are you gonna do when it's time to put back the Chromebooks and then the teacher looks at all the Chromebooks being charged and the one that was assigned to you isn't there? Because that's what our teacher used to do, so everybody could put it back in their respective slots. What do you gain from this?
I don't know if some of these high schoolers don't have a plan to go to college or get any future employment, but they're literally posting these videos on their personal accounts. You would think they would make burners so their school doesn't catch them doing it, but you can search them on TikTok, Chromebook durability test yourself, and see how many of these high schoolers are doing it on their personal accounts. Then of course we got challenges like the Skull Breaker challenge.
I may or may not have done this challenge, all right? I was trying to upload it on YouTube, but as you can tell, they age restricted it. I might bring it back, but honestly, I don't know. Don't do this challenge.
And the penny outlet challenge. A lot of this is just for views, but there is another aspect to it in my opinion. I think what Gen Z really likes compared to other generations is the watching of people doing violent things.
Yes.
And this all stems from one place where everything on the—
I will say, I can sit on my high horse and be like, oh, you shouldn't do this. This is obviously dumb. But as soon as I see someone doing it, guess what? I might watch it. Will I like and comment? I will definitely not like. I will comment that you're dumb as hell. I think the reason why people are doing this is because they know they'll get attention from it. But that's also understanding not all attention is good attention. If you were to get exposed for, I don't know, twirling your butt hairs and it went viral, is that something you would want to be known for, having hair in your butt? There's certain things you want to be known for, and that's just not one of those things, being dumb, especially an era that goes so terribly wrong that, you know, something could happen to you.
The internet links to. For demonetization reasons, I can't fully say it, and I don't know if I can. It rhymes with lore, and scroll on IG Reels about 5 times and you'll probably see it. The impact content has had on Gen Z is bigger than people think. There's probably a 90% chance anybody watching this in Gen Z has seen a video intentionally or unintentionally.
Twitter was definitely responsible for that. It's crazy because I would assume that your Twitter feed is catered to your interests. I've never liked a single video that replicates lore.
Intentionally. Before YouTube cracked down on it, you could casually see it on here. And there was always that one kid in school who would go around and try to show people weird videos like that. Those type of dudes were definitely school threats. Seeing these type of videos in general is bad for you, but for somebody with a growing mind seeing it, it's even worse. Which is why I think it's an aspect in us being obsessed with dangerous trends. We're so desensitized to us, it don't even matter anymore. I don't think humans were meant to see this much violence in our lifetime. In past generations, you couldn't casually see this stuff. I genuinely think if something like 9/11 happened nowadays, people would probably forget after a week when another catastrophic event happens and start posting brain rot memes of the Twin Towers.
Okay, I will say this. Thank God the internet was not as big back then, because now if something as catastrophic as that were to happen, you would see people memeing it. It definitely happened at a time where the internet was much more mature.
Those back then used to get in deep trouble when they made a joke about 9/11. It took multiple years for shows and movies to start making jokes because they knew the public would tear them up. But nowadays you'll have a bunch of people in the comments typing, oh man, TS funny as hell. Keep it up, gang. I know not everyone in our generation is like that. A lot of us know when the right time is to make a joke and when it isn't. Looking at IG Reel comments though shows you the other side of people who—
Look, a lot of the times, bro, if something were to happen, you have to let that joke marinate. Sometimes people don't know when to read the room. If you know how to read the room, then the joke could be okay. But if something happened like 2 days ago to your friend or something, and you bring that up like, yo, or just in general, if something happens in society that has everyone like, yo, did you see this? Like, oh, RIP them. And then you bring it up as a joke. Like, come on, bro. You just gotta read the room.
Don't know and don't care. IG Reels to me is like the kick of short form content. People will say comments that isn't even formed as a joke and people die laughing at it. Going back to the challenges, maybe this isn't the end all be all for the challenges. Recently, the Ice Bucket Challenge started making its comeback, and that's what I want to see more of. Like, let's bring back the wholesome challenges on the internet. Our generation's obsession with serial killers too was also a weird thing. The fact that serial killers be having lines of women ready for them is such—
If we made edits of serial killers, just imagine all the terrible things we would have made edits out of, especially if they were to happen now. They would probably make an edit out of the pilot.
Such a weird concept to me. I just want once, just once, for them to be released and manage to marry one of these fans and have all the fangirls with the Pikachu shock face when he ends up stabbing her while she's sleeping. I don't know what they think—
I genuinely think they might even enjoy that too.
Is gonna happen, but it's not gonna be a honeymoon. One notable incident from our generation of this serial killer obsession we can't forget is Jeffrey Dahmer.
And he's genuinely chopped. Like the actor, of course, Quicksilver, the one who played Quicksilver in Wolverines, like he looks good. But the actual Jeffrey Dahmer looks chopped. And the fact that there's people out here that were sending him letters, making edits of him, you're disgusting.
Specifically when the show reenacting his life released on Netflix. You see, Jeffrey Dahmer already had fangirls back in the 90s when he first got locked up, sending him all their money and gifts and their nudes. Sending a gay man your nudes as a woman has got to be the biggest—
Yeah, like you don't think he would end your life even quicker? You know the man likes meat up his butt, right? He like his meat in his buns. He don't like girl cooter, all right? So flirting with him gotta be like flirting with a tree. What type of response do you want to get?
Airball of all time. I would say a majority of Gen Z did know about Jeffrey Dahmer, but a lot of people didn't. So when Netflix released this show and it went #1, he got introduced to a whole new generation on the mainstream. And as they always say, history repeats itself. TikTok was flooded with simp edits for him. They took no time immediately making edits of him on TikTok.
Didn't know.
Okay, that's the actual actor. I hope that they're making an edit out of the actor himself and not Jeffrey Dahmer.
Till I die, all these lollies call me.
Ew, what is this song? Please remove this song out of here.
TikTok had to go on a spree deleting a bunch of these edits after they were going viral. And you could see a bunch of women in the comments talking about he's so dreamy and kind-hearted. I say we f around and let them—
Kind-hearted is not the word. You can maybe throw some compliments at his looks if you find him attractive, right? Kind-hearted, I think his victims would beg to differ.
Find out. Oh wait, we can't because he's dead. Even killers in our generation are getting simped over. In 2021, a guy named Cameron Herron got sentenced to 24 years in prison. The reason was because he was speeding and hit a mom with her daughter, killing them on the spot.
R.I.P.
One of the most heartless things you can do. And just like Jeffrey Dahmer, they were making edits of—
This does not scare you? This is the exact representation of anyone with colored eyes. We see it, bro. Your eyes are light blue. This looks like Gojo sometimes when he has his eye out, and I love Gojo. But this is just creepy. This doesn't look real.
Cameron.
The Arabic music, are we serious?
They went as far to even make a petition for him to be released that got 22,000 signatures on it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't ever want to hear women say men are more down bad when like this exists. Would men—
I've noticed pretty privilege is so prevalent. You can't tell me pretty privilege doesn't exist when you have people that look good committing these crimes and people are like, oh, you know what? Did they really do anything wrong? Because a lot of the time, replace those attractive men or women with people that are ugly. Watch, nobody care. Nobody's gonna even bat an eye.
And do the same if a similar thing happened with a woman that looked good? Absolutely, 100%. It'd probably be actually double the amount of signatures. But that shows we're really equal for real. Gen Z just likes to obsess over any danger in any aspect, like music too. Bro, I'll never forget when every rapper started rocking a shiesty in 2020. Everyone and their mother were running to the store to buy them. The shiesty hit the social media streets like crack. If you—
Okay, I will say in cold areas like New York, I understand why people wear shiesties. I thought it was all a trend, but then that weather in New York is no joke.
Around typical YNs, you already saw them rocking it before it became popular. So to me, it was funny growing up and seeing it go from purely hood wearing them to Billy from Utah with the Loving Family. Some people really don't know how big the reach is. As y'all know, I was in Japan for about 2 weeks this past month. Go follow on like the IG post, by the way, because I'm looking sexy. And I can't make this up. I seen a fully Japanese guy wearing a shiesty and sagging—
I will say though, Japan was definitely interesting. When I went to Japan, I would see people with like textured hair, dreads, obviously gaining inspiration from African Americans in America. I wasn't offended or anything, but it's insane how there's a trade of culture.
In Tokyo, the only gang you've been fighting is the Hidden Leaf Village, man. Take that. Out of rap, our generation takes the most dangerous aspects and tries to emulate it. It can't be that lyrical because people call that corny. You pull up to the function rapping like Eminem and people are just gonna die laughing at you.
You can't rap like Eminem anymore. It's gonna be seen as corny. No one wants to hear that gimmick that you could rap fast, so obviously fast means good.
Gangster rap from the past versus now doesn't even come close. Back then, the most you had was 50 Cent and you knew his lore and how he grew up in the streets. People thought they were leading the hood when listening to Many Men. But nowadays, you got whole documentaries on rappers who are admitted serial killers. King Von becoming so big has gotta be an indicator that our generation is really obsessed with violence.
Yeah, but I will say I think that violence aspect has been going down, at least in terms of music. They might say it in rap, but I feel like now people just want good beats, at least when it comes to rap music.
Everybody who listened to him knew damn well this man was dropping people left and right on the streets. And that's what added to the appeal for our generation. Okay, it has always been a thing in rap where people ask, is the rapper really living what they rap? Which I think people are starting to care less about and more care about if the song is—
bro, I'm not gonna listen to a song and be like, this is the greatest music I've ever heard in my life, but he didn't do it though, so let me turn it off. No one does that. If a song is good, it's good. It really just depends on how you feel about it.
It's just good. I think us losing some of the biggest rappers to this violence kind of made it put us off.
I
remember when Lil Tecca was breaking down his song lyrics and making sure people know he's not actually on any of that type of shit. Honestly, it felt refreshing and was hilarious to watch.
I got 2 twin Glocks, turn you to a dancer. I don't have no straps for nobody. I don't got no—
I will say this in turn made people take Lil Tecca less serious. I mean, no, granted, everyone could, for the most part, agree Lil Tecca is a great artist, but I feel like he should be much bigger than what he is.
straps.
But people still want to feel the real thing, and I think that's what King Von did. The whole YN culture taking over in general shows me our generation also just wants to obsess over violence just because. I know hella people make fun of Cardi listeners and the average Ken Carson fan.
Are we serious? You wanted to get a concussion just so you could vibe on beat to a Cardi song? You got it.
And Destroy Lonely, whatnot. But I'd rather Billy from Utah obsess over Cardi and try to act mysterious than Billy from Utah obsess over King Von and NBA Youngboy. Like, bro, the top enemy to black people in America.
Nothing more I hate than someone that does not need to live the life of the person whose music they hear. Life is good for you. Why are you deliberately trying to be mean? You might as well just be yourself. And I don't think they want to be like this. It just so happens to give them money now that they're actually talking about it. But you're just deliberately going downhill for what? For the aesthetic? That's crazy.
America is the YN because it makes the whole community look bad. And the fact that it's the most glorified on social media is a blow to the face. Because you'll have the old white people looking at their grandkids and them reenacting Murder on My Mind and blaming everyone that's black for it, even though most black people don't even like them either. I just imagine them waking up one morning and seeing their bundle of joy in their front yard recording a music video like this.
I could have swore this was the kid that played in the movie Up. This is what you do after Pops died? Wow, bro. Why is his voice so pitchy? So we got a white version of Dave Blunts. Maybe if Disney still had their Disney Channel show and they still started producing shows, you would have landed a role, but sorry, buddy.
So anyways, that's everything overall. Let me know how violent y'all are in the comments. Follow me on Twitter,
I'm very violent, Tommy.
TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
Great video. What do you think is the worst violence committed by Gen Zers? Road to 800K. Please subscribe. Join us on Twitch. All that good stuff. Wagster for life. Love y'all. And peace.